Hello, everyone. So let's start with the question. At what point do you know that the investment in your training is actually delivering the results you expect?
Right.
Or that you have invested in? At what point do you know they're doing what they have learned to do? And we will argue that there's only one way to know that definitively, and that's the voice of the customer, and that's what we do.
Yeah. There's a misconception that when folks go to training, they come out and they're miraculously changed. Will do the process immediately perfectly. And that's wrong. It's only an introduction. It's, practice, and it's course correction, and it's evolution, and it's, trying different things. It does not happen overnight. So training to me is an introduction, but reinforcement and having it become part of the DNA takes time, encouragement, coaching. I mean, it's ongoing. So that's one thing that training is not. Training is only an introduction. It has to be observed. It has to be reinforced. It has to be coached. It has to have feedback. I mean, there's so many components, so that becomes part of the DNA over time. And then you say in the end, that's how we do business. That's how they do business.
You got it right on the head. And so you're dealing with a high-level person. If you dig down into an HR organization, if you're talking to a manager, they might simply say, hey, we do the training, but then the frontline managers are doing nothing to support it. That's why it's not working. And we're the answer for that because we provide the voice of the member feedback and strategies to coach. We organize that data in such a way that it's actionable and you can use it to transform your employees. And that is key. That is key because so many line managers were good at what they did at the front line and they get promoted up, but they're never developed and trained into great leaders, into coaches. And it's not a matter of desire. It's a matter of equipment, time, and energy. And if we can provide them with the tools they need and the support, they're going to be successful. And to your point, Marguerite, it's going to become the way they do business.
Let me ask the three of you something. In your experience, if there would be a silver bullet, what would that silver bullet be that would transform or make the reality on the front line what was being taught or learned? Is there a silver bullet? What would that be?
What I will say, I don't think anything's a silver bullet, but what I have learned is moving from a manual process to an automated process and reinforcing exactly what was in the training made it take hold much better than a manual being taught in class and then coming back and do it manually. That's what I've seen as different and really start to shift and change the culture.
Would you say it has to have a live element to it then?
Yes. And lots of feedback, ongoing feedback from the customer, reinforcement of the correct process, inspection and coaching around the process. There's several elements that have to be there. It's not any one silver bullet. Everything's interrelated for this to work.
No, I would agree with you, Marguerite. No silver bullet. And it has to be an organizational focus. As soon as the eye comes off that ball, it drops to the floor. Maybe not immediately, but over time, people stop prioritizing it. So to your point, the feedback has to be there, has to be inspected, has to be coached, and recognition and focus from top to bottom of the organization has to be there. If it's not, it's going to be one of those things, kumbaya. You went away for the retreat, came back with a smile on your face, 2 weeks later it wore off. At least in my experience, it's very difficult for people to execute on something if they don't think it's important to the organization.
I totally agree with everything, and I can just speak, from more broadly. And what stands out to me is the measurement piece and the real-time piece, creating a culture of ownership with the employee. And so I think that the self-directed tool, getting that feedback and being able to work with that in real time, to me would be close to a silver bullet.